Let's be honest, while being a new dad is exciting, it can also bring out some serious fears. How am I going to take care of this child? How am I going to afford this child? What am I doing? While we may not all talk about it, nearly all dads experience some kind of self-doubt and have fear when we find out that we're going to be a dad. In today's video, we're going over some new dad tips to deal with some of those fears of fatherhood. Hopefully after this video, you're going to be more calm and excited about this journey you're about to embark on. Hey guys, I'm Jason Kreidman and welcome to another episode of Dad University. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that notification bell. Also, it really helps us spread our message when you share these videos. So maybe you know a couple people that might enjoy it, please share it with them. There is no doubt that being a new dad can feel scary. Heck, when we had our first child, I had no idea what I was doing and I was very scared. But it doesn't have to feel that way. So let's go over some new dad tips to help with those fears. Number one, we are all beginners at one time. Anytime you do something new that you've never done before, you're a beginner when you start. I mean, it could be music, sports, it doesn't matter. When you do something for the first time, you are a beginner. It would be great if you could pick up a guitar for the first time and just immediately play an amazing song. But that's not how it works. You have to practice over and over. You mess up, you play out of tune, but you gotta practice. And it takes a lot of practice to be able to play a song. Now, I understand that a child and a guitar are much different, but the principle is what I'm talking about. And that is that it takes a lot of practice to become an expert. But, changing a diaper and feeding the baby and bathing, that's all tactical things that you'll become an expert at really quickly. It's the other stuff, the emotional things, the communication, the discipline, how to deal with them. Those are the things that take a lot of practice. And so the point is that we are all beginners when we start, and we have to practice over and over again. And that's what parenting is. Number two, bonding takes time. Many new dads get frustrated or feel a little distant from their child right when it's born. And they have this expectation that they're going to have, a really strong bond with them right away. But this can either be because either they don't spend a lot of time with them, or the baby doesn't really provide much feedback in the beginning. Eventually your baby will recognize your voice, but in the beginning, there really isn't much feedback. There's not a lot of opportunity to communicate with your baby. And I think the bonding happens when you have a chance to spend a decent amount of time with the child, but then you also have that chance to communicate. There's some kind of feedback that you're receiving. Maybe you talk or sing to your child and you get a smile or a laugh. For me, that's when the bonding started kicking in. It wasn't right away. I recall that it was at least a couple of months before I started feeling a bond with my son. It was a combination of that feedback or the smiles and the laughing, along with just simply spending more time with him. Number three, you are not alone. Millions and millions of new dads have experienced the same thing that you're going through. Sometimes it feels like you're alone or that you're the only one who has experienced these issues. But I assure you, you are not. The stress, the anxiety, the emotional roller coaster, all of those feelings that you're going through, so many dads experience the same thing. We men are just good at not talking about it, so the people around us have no idea that we are going through emotional turmoil. We are really good at hiding it, or it manifests itself in different ways. We have anger, we have addictions, or we have other things that we're dealing with. But this emotional roller coaster that we're going through, I assure you, you are not alone. The tip here is that sometimes just knowing that other people are going through the same thing and that we are normal can help us feel better. This is a very common thing, to feel like you're alone and to go through these emotions. But as men, we're often taught and it's perceived that if we have these emotions that we are somehow weak. And that could be nothing further from the truth. Having these feelings means that you are human and that you are normal. Number four, talk with other dads. Going through this stuff alone isn't easy, and certainly when you feel like you're the only one experiencing something, that makes it even more challenging. But I assure you that you aren't the only one experiencing it. So talking with other dads gives you that opportunity to hear their stories, to share those challenges that you're going through together. I know as men, we don't like to share our feelings or talk about issues that we're facing. But I assure you that when you do this and you talk to other dads, it can really help you feel better. There are Facebook groups dedicated to fatherhood. You can reach out to your local community or religious organizations, but find support groups for dads so that you can talk about the things and the issues that you're facing. It may be a little bit difficult for you and get you out of your comfort zone, but I assure you that it will help you get through those difficult times. Especially if you don't have friends or family nearby or people that you can talk to. Often our guy friends and our buddies aren't necessarily there for emotional support, or that we just don't feel comfortable talking with them. But there is something different about talking with a support group or talking through the internet and having that group that is in the same situation. It really does feel better. Number 5, watch your spending. A big fear and source of stress for new dads is definitely financial. We're always worried about how we're going to afford this child, and the costs for a child are pretty daunting. You've got those necessities, the clothes, the food, the diapers, etc. But then you have all those unnecessary items that your friends and family tell you that you really have to have. That's for a whole other video. But we as dads always want to provide, and those costs and the financial aspect of it can be stressful. If you were not financially set up prior to having the child and you're already stressed out, then certainly adding a child isn't going to make it any easier. However, what having a child can do is force you to look at how you are spending your money. Are you eating out a lot? Are you buying things that you don't really need? Could you reduce your expenses? So looking at your financial situation is important. You might be able to cut some of those unneeded expenses and realize that all of a sudden now your child might be a little bit more important than some of those other things you're spending money on. Sure, you can look at getting a better paying job and making more money, and that's certainly an option. But it's important to be mindful about how you are spending your money. And in order to take care of your child, you may have to make some sacrifices. But that's what we do as fathers. Number 6, enjoy the present moment. Depression is focusing on things that have happened in the past. And anxiety is worrying about things that may or may not happen in the future. And one of the best ways to avoid both of those is to focus on the present moment. Now, with your children, I'm not saying that it's not good to think about the future, but one of the most powerful and enjoyable things to do is to focus on the present moment. Fatherhood is a journey, and it goes by really fast. I never believed that until I blinked and my kids were now 10 and 12 years old. I look at pictures of them as babies and I cannot believe how fast 10 years has gone by. It doesn't feel like it's going to go by that fast when you're listening to a baby crying or you're dealing with some other emotion that you're having. But I assure you, the time goes by really fast. Enjoying the present moment is one of the most important new dad tips I can provide. We often think of the future things that are going to happen. Oh, I can't wait until my baby's going to walk, or going to ride a bike, or that we can go play catch. But when we focus on these things in the future, I think we take away from the present moment. And to be truly happy, you want to focus on the present moment. I am suggesting to try to enjoy those late night feedings, that lack of sleep, the not knowing what to do, the child sleeping on your chest for 2 hours and you can't get up from the couch and your arm's numb but you don't want to wake the baby. Those moments. Those are the moments you're going to remember. Try not to worry too much about what has happened in the past or what is going to happen in the future. How am I going to handle this situation, or how am I going to handle that? Focus on the present moment and enjoy it. Sometimes it does feel like you have an overwhelming journey in front of you. And I'm not going to lie. Sometimes fatherhood can be overwhelming. It's a roller coaster. It can be an emotional roller coaster or a physical roller coaster, but it's that roller coaster that you just want to stay on. It's an amazing journey, I assure you. When you do feel overwhelmed, just come back to these new dad tips and hopefully you'll feel a little better. I would love to hear from you. Are you a new dad fearful of fatherhood? Leave your feedback in the comment section below. If you found this video helpful, you don't want to miss what we have for you in our other videos. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that notification bell. Also, if you know a couple people that might enjoy this, please share it with them. We'll see you next time.